Hi everyone, and welcome to my little album review over here for Scarlxrd's Fantasy Void Autumn Period. So, my name is Holden Stephan Roy. This is the Headspace podcast, the show where we break down new hip-hop albums track by track, giving thoughts and opinions on every single song. The kind of albums we talk about is all sorts of stuff, but a good example would be like Scarlxrd's Fantasy Void, the Autumn one. As I understand it, this is possibly part of like a bigger project, and it seems like Scarlxrd is doing the mixtape little release strategy that seems to be becoming more popular and prevalent within the underground. So that's really interesting to see on that front. But anyway, before we get into it, I want to do my self promo part. So I make music myself, and if you want to check that out, links in description. I dropped the track May 13th, got another one lined up June 24th. The next one will come in July, and we're going to be popping off a lot more regular music over here. I'm behind that suit as I turn this into a little label. That's right. But that's okay, so let me know what you think. Links in descriptions. Follow me on Spotify if you feel it. I really need the help. Otherwise, you can, if you really like our more deep dive look at album reviews and you think what we do over here is pretty nifty, you could support us on Patreon for $1 or more a month. We could really use that help too. It's super cool. On that note, we are going to get into the review, and I like to start off every review kind of just describing why I chose to do the album. And the first reason I chose to do this is because it's 11 minutes long. I'm not going to lie. I wanted to get something out today, and it's a little bit easier to do a same day one when it's 4 tracks than the one I'm really looking forward to tomorrow. So in case you're curious, I'm going to do the Freddie Gibbs Alchemist project, but if I had chosen to do that one today, it would have come out a couple hours later just for all the extra prep time that would have had to go into the longer project, etc. But why Scarlxrd? Well, I hope it's pronounced Scarlxrd. I'm just assuming that he uses X's instead of O's, and that's like a thing he does. I didn't look that much into him, but somebody had commented a while back on one of the other reviews I did, and I tried to find the comment so I could shout the person up, but YouTube has a bad habit of deleting comments and just removing stuff lately. So whoever that person is who told me I would probably like Scarlxrd and I should check him out, you're right. So I played one of his tracks off of the other project, and yo, if you want to see me talk about the one that he released like a couple weeks back or a week ago or whatever, and have my thoughts on those 3 tracks, I'm down, but only if you guys want to see it. So hit that like button if you do, leave a little comment telling me you want to see it, and then we'll make that happen. It's real short, it'll be real easy to pop that off within a week if you guys are down to see something like that. Otherwise, we'll go through this one together and you can let me know what you think. So you can just imagine that before today, May 29th, 2020, I have never listened to a Scarlxrd song in my life. Well, that's not true. Yesterday I listened to a sample of one and I was really feeling it. Like I'm a sucker for punk rock, for that metal stuff. I'm also a sucker for the rap and the hip hop. And I come from the time in life when you were 12 years old, Linkin Park became the coolest thing ever. So Limp Bizkit was hot. Nu metal was hot back when I was a youngster. And so I'm from like the only generation ever until these new kids are bringing it back that really like nu metal. I know that people 5 years older than me and 5 years younger than me in my early 30s here freaking hate this stuff. So it seemed to be like the way disco was for a group of people. Like I know nu metal was for the teenagers of my era. I'm not like kind of silly. I get how it's played out in history. But now I'm in my early 30s, and all these hip-hop dudes is bringing nu metal back, and it's just like, however you want to call this, I'm calling it nu metal because I don't know how else to clarify this. It's got this fusion of hip-hop and rock. I mean, back in the day, that's what we called nu metal. I mean, again, I could be wrong. I could be remembering incorrectly. 20 years ago was 20 years ago. But for me, I'm sitting here and I put this on and I'm like, this is incredible. Because like, we'll get into like each track, like I said, but I'm just so happy that this like sound exists, that these genres are just coming together again and creating interesting sounds that combine like my favorite sounds and like put them together. I know for a long while everyone was into purism in their music, where hip-hop had to sound like this and punk had to be like that and we couldn't be friends, and all that stuff is wonky. So when I hear something like what Scarlxrd's doing here, it gives me a lot of optimism for the future hybrid potentials and mishmashes of what we're going to get as the genre lines close and artistry becomes more about, I guess, making interesting music than trying to fit into a box. So at least for me, like I'm a little bit of a sucker for what he's done here. Anyway, the album is called Fantasy Void Autumn I don't know the Autumn significance. I get the feeling that it's because there's more than one of them. Give me a second. I'm just checking Dude's thing right now, his Spotify, trying to check for the albums, because you know the EPs are all the way at the bottom. Oh, so there's intro, and then there was spring, and that was it. So you know what? If you guys want me to do intro and spring, you let me know. I'll add that one to it too. So if you feel this one, you can let me know. But either way, he's dropped these ones, and like the cover's interesting because each one of the covers seems to be revealing a piece of a bigger cover. So you got those green tape things advertising whatever on the front, that's fine. But then if you look, this one's got the left part of the cover revealed, and then Fantasy Void Spring has the top part, and Intro has the right part. So that's super nifty. I love the idea of playing on seasons too, to kind of keep, I guess, time moving and whatnot. And I guess when I hear Fantasy Void, it just kind of sounds like desolation, like a place of life where maybe the emotions are a little young and chaotic and nothing is feeling right. Kind of like the emo music that a young me really loved, because you know what happened when I was like in my high school? Fucking My Chemical Romance dropped 3 Cheers and Black Parade. All right, that was my teenagerhood. I got to be at that age when Black Parade popped and whatnot, because I know that album went down well in terms of the love of the emos. So I'm really like excited to get into it. One thing I want to comment is I'm looking quickly. Some of these lyrics aren't up, and I'll be honest, I can't fully understand everything Dude's is saying. I love the emotion in his voice, as we'll get into, but if there's not lyrics, whatever. We'll just have to roll with what's available. Anyway, first track is called Sick of Silence. Gosh, I love the way he screams, sings. I love it so much. It's just so reminiscent of so many things I grew up listening as I would try to throw my voice out singing along. I'll be honest, I don't even know what the hell he's saying in the beginning of the track. If I listen to it a bunch more, I'm certain I could make it out, but I didn't. I tried. I did. I went back. I rewinded a few times, and it just kind of is like, blah, or whatever. But I'm not trying to mock it. I fucking love that shit. I think the way what's really cool about him is I don't really need to hear what he's saying to hear what he's saying, because the emotion that he puts into a voice, I feel what he's saying. So I know that in some part of the verse it says far enough for me. I don't need him to tell me whatever. It just feels like shit in his life is bad and it's pushing him to the edge and whatnot, and it's conveyed in his voice and it's conveyed in the energy he puts out, and just that combination of the crazy drum beats with the more, I don't know, the cool rock, hip-hop, electronic fusion of the voice. It just flows over in such an intense way where I found myself just wanting to headbang but also vibe to it at the same time, and it just captures the energy so well. Like, this is an extremely impressive track. Okay, I don't know that I'm gonna call this dude like biggest hip-hop poet of the year, but he's a great emo poet as far as what I would go for on that side of it. Like, all the rock punk dudes they do aren't writing fucking mad bars for days. They're kind of writing shit like sick of silence, sick of silence, sick of silence, oh so blind of where you're supposed to go. That could be Korn, right? Like, that could be Korn lyrics right there. So how am I gonna hate Dude for coming up with great lyrics in another genre based on that? It's pretty dope, man. Just the feeling of it. Like, you pictured a live show, everybody's singing along with him. And you know what? It's an interesting idea. Sick of silence, oh so blind for where we're supposed to go. When I hear that, I'm like, you know, there's no real direction, there's no real clarity. Maybe this is about anecdotal love situations, maybe it's a commentary on society, and I kind of like the open-ended nature of it. I do feel like it might be a little more personal because it's more emo sounding, but I like the fact that it's done in such a way where it's vague enough to be more than that. Then you have like the part where it's like living on a blank. You've been on the edge for way too long. Something, are you sick? You've been on the edge for way too long. And like you get the sense of questioning just the homeostatic situation of whatever. You feel the turmoil. You feel the angst. It's really, really well done. There really aren't a lot more lyrics to this track. He kind of cycles between the couple of the little verse, the choruses, and you can hear the change in how he sings it, so it's audibly like shuffling back and forth. But since I didn't really care what he was saying and I was just vibing on the emotion of his tune, I just found his voice like put in. Like, you can hear him cleanly screaming, cleanly doing the vocals, and then the effects are added. Like, this is not a guy who can't do this shit. This is a guy who can do it, and then they enhance his voice to give off this amazing effect. And I love this shit. Do I think he's clear enough for a genre? Yeah, absolutely. If you were to throw on any screamer right now, I don't listen to enough metal or anything like that to be able to just cleanly pick out the vocals like when I was a little bit younger and I was a little bit more prevalent into that world. So I'm putting that on myself for the lack of understanding of what he's saying, but also giving him such props that I didn't need that. Like, I didn't need the bars. If you watch my channel, you know how much I love the bars and I love the lyrics and I love the poetry, but I think he managed to just communicate it all with his voice and the energy of the song enough for me to get the point of it, and it was beautiful to listen to this. I really like this song. I am like a fan of Scarlxrd now, just because of this. Like, I'm a fan. I'm sold. So it's a 4.5 on 5. Really cool. And unless I'm wrong, really cool to see somebody doing something like this and to not it be co-produced by fucking Travis Barker. Because as much as I like me some Travis Barker, it really just ends up feeling a lot of the time like he is the only guy really like pushing that in the older cats. So I like the fact that the youth is making this go down and whatnot. It's real dope. I really enjoyed this. 4.5 on 5. I think I said that just in case. Anyway, Save Your Grace. I like this one. I feel like it flows, like, it's extremely similar. This is obviously, or not obvious because you're watching me talk about it, but it might not be obvious, but this is in the vein of, if you like the first one, you're going to like the tape. If you don't like the first one, you're not going to like the tape. It's an extremely similar sound, and I guess in the nature of the EPs. From what I heard of the, I guess the spring one, because I did listen to a track, that one also kind of sounded similar. So you might not dig this project if you also aren't feeling as excitedly nostalgic about the overall situation here as I am, but this is, to me, awesome. I mean, there's more lyrics available for me to discuss, like Searching, Just Save Your Grace, Something More Than I Can Take, If You're Bringing Me Back, Oh Wow, If You're Just Bringing Me Back, Oh No. And it just, I don't know, it feels like when you're heartbroken and whatnot. I'm not calling this the best poetry in the world. I would call it extremely standard poetry. I think the poetry itself, or maybe my lack of hearing the words that I think are next levels, but the only reason I'm not calling this a 5, because you give me this exact song and give me some insightful political commentary attached to that, maybe I'm 32, okay? And attached to that, I might be like throwing 5s at this, because like this sound, it's amazing. The emotional expression here is also there. I feel like it's a little slower down, and he does a little more melody in this one. But overall, like, it's just extremely, like, my feelings towards Save Your Grace and Sick of Silence are almost identical. Like, I gave this another 4.5 on 5 because I feel like it vibes through. I feel like the instrumentation that's added into the beat is just solid. Like, the way it starts with that little guitar bit, just kind of, it's cool. Like, it just captures me. It just brings me in. And again, a little bit of nostalgia. But I like the fact that he has that youthful spirit of, like, when you know there's a bad situation, and again, it kind of feels like love here. Maybe this is a little clearer to you who have checked out the first 2 albums or projects or whatever, or you're more familiar with them. But so I hear that and I'm like, oh, this sounds so authentic. It just sounds like somebody who's tired of some shit, somebody who's toxic in their life, and they're trying to, like, get back to their world, and they're being, like, sucked back into it. And the idea of Save Your Grace is such an interesting word, right? Like, let's just Google grace. I want to make sure I do this correctly, because sometimes I think I know what words mean, but with something like this, 1 second. So grace can be defined as the simple elegance or refinement of movement, courteous goodwill. So he's basically saying, fuck out of here with your good shit, you know? Fuck out of here with your faux kindness. You're just trying to suck me back into a toxic void. That's fresh. Okay. I'm giving him a little bit more points on the poetry over that grace term. Does it make it a 5? No. Does it make it a little bit nicer than I said at first? Yes. Anyway. Living my life like you're back. The first 2 lines of the verse, me and Genius don't know what he says. Living my life like you're back. I cannot find a way. I want to find out a way. My mind just falling away. I want to find you. I want to find your back. Searching, you know, just save your grace. And it kind of repeats so that first part, if you're just bringing me back, a whole lot. So this is very repetitious music, but in the same way that, like, Triple Extentation did that, and it was fucking fresh, and that emotion-driven music, again, like punk music, or fuck, look at the Hey Jude song, and it's just literally 3 minutes of na 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 na. Like, it's 3 minutes of that, for real. So repetition isn't an issue in music. In fact, one can say that good pop music is extremely repetitious. Why? Because charts and science and shit. So I feel like what he's doing here is really powerful. It's really expressive in the emotion, and it's more, you can still feel what he's saying. Like, I didn't really know this song was necessarily about a person and he's trying to escape it, but I felt that he was still anxious and battling some kind of a circumstance that he's trying to get away from. Like, you can see him going through that internal war, and I've lived through stuff like that. I still, to this day, have battles like that inside of me. There are moments in my life where this song captures the emotional state of my heart and soul. And because of that, I'm left with another 4.5 on 5. It's just really beautiful art that really serves a great function. Plus, I want to see this dude live. If he ever comes to Montreal post-isolation times, I'm freaking there. Unless it's a giant festival, because I'm old. I'm not going to no fucking festivals unless I'm performing, and then I meet him backstage. That would be fresh. Anyway, y'all caught up a little bit of my imagination there, but the truth is, yo, I'm not worried. So I like this one because it adds like a splice of flavor into this project, because we have had 2 songs that were extremely similar back to back, really like kind of more touching on the more rock screaming side of his art form. So what he does here when he goes into the more rappy trappy kind of triplet flow, like they don't want to dance, I can't do the flow, I can pretend to, but I feel like it's a bit more on that trappy modern vibe, but over a trappy kind of beat, but still kind of having that blended hybrid element added to it. So I just kind of think it's like really cool how he's able to add like such a modern sense of style to this like new metal-esque aesthetic, because that is definitely something that I think is cool. Like, will this sound dated to this time period in 10 years? Abso-fucking-lutely. But do I love it for what it is? And would I love it in 10 years? Probably, because it's still tapping into that world. But I appreciated the variety and the way he flipped it up. He starts it off, this one has more lyrics available for us to discuss, so we can actually get into a sense of his rhyming a little bit. I live in a bubble, all this shit I own, yeah? And I haven't actually read these words. I was listening to the album projects earlier, so we're going to look at the lyrics together for the first time with me. So yeah, he's basically in a bubble, bitch. All the shit he owns, to me, it's kind of like his world's kind of fancy, and he's in this different existence that doesn't necessarily reflect reality. They don't worry me, they don't know where we are. I ain't worried, bitch. They don't worry me, they don't know where we are. He just kind of repeats that for a while. He's kind of, I guess, saying there, listen, I got this fancy life, but I'm not stressed about them haters and them other stuff, because unlike a lot of other silly cats, I'm not out there posting my info. I'm keeping it on the lows and whatnot. People can't find me, so guess what? We good, nothing to fret about. We can do our deeds in silence and be all good. And I appreciate that. I like the idea that, to a sense, he's kind of respecting this kind of code of, like, I'm not stressed because I'm not living like a fool. And I like that attitude he's putting off. And then the verse, basically this track is a pretty big verse, and then it just kind of ends. Get bars like, they don't dance, I just wasted all my dimes, and now I got some. Okay, they careful with me now. There they go, starstruck. Oh yeah, young Scarlxrd. They want some in it. They don't dance, I just wasted all my dimes. Okay, they care. Anyway, he just repeats that for a while. I guess he repeats that twice. They shouldn't doubted me. This shit way too easy. Even though we draw, I say ride the wave. Parking, coming in late. Shit never coming in flow. I don't know. Bunch of generic-y kind of bars, to be honest. None of that was really insightful in terms of lyrical analysis to me. They're absolutely standard bars of reflecting that he does his thing. He is completely cool with it. I guess girls aren't clear in his life. I just wasted all my dimes and I got some. So, maybe he fucked around with certain women. They went away. Now he's got new women's coming through. Maybe it's a commentary on drugs and money. I don't really know. I just don't know what's all that insightful here. To me, I love his delivery, though. I love the way he spits this. I love the flow. I love the way it bounces. I would just be going, hey, and just kind of like fucking riding over it, especially when he does drop that A flow at one point, and it's real fun to listen to. But end of the day, it's like, I don't let go. Give me the 4, give me the 10, wanted the guns. Whatever. That doesn't do a whole lot for me. That's not the kind of music it is. Like I said, it's vibe music, so I'm not really evaluating it on its lyrical content. I just don't think he's dropping the most profound lyrical content. I do think his delivery and expressiveness, it's pretty profound, however. I'm giving this a 4.35. I don't necessarily love it as much as the last 2, but I'm still very impressed with this song, and I still think it's real proper. And overall, I'm left with this desire to just kind of check out more of his music Am I going to do that soon? Well, if y'all make this video get like 2,000 views, probably do another review real quick. But otherwise, it might take some time, but I'm definitely going to be watching for his releases moving forward. And over time, going and putting on some of this. Because, yo, this shit's some good copy-paste keep you awake. This is like in lieu of coffee music when you really got to have that quick jolt. I find this shit keeps my brain proper. I never get tired of it. I lied. I mostly don't get tired of it. Anyway, that was just a little quick one. Yeah, I love this, how this one starts. This one's like right back in that 4.5 line, just to let you know where I'm at with it. Like, it comes in just fast. Like, I seen this shit and they come and they go and it's evident nobody's feeling new, bro. Scarlxrd. And the way he comes in with that quick flow like that, just kind of wraps it in, that kind of screamy, rappy vibe. That's nice. I really, really fucking like that. But yeah, also the lyrics are up on this one in full. This is the only one that gave me the lyrics in full to play with. We'll see if there's a little bit more. Same kind of deal. I don't really hear the bars, so I'm checking them out for the first time in this video. But man, I love the vibe on this one. I feel like this was more the rap hybrid I was going for in terms of fixing it. It's just cool. Like for real, when he does the end of the little first verse and you just got the fuck. Come on, like that shit there. Oh, it's just the way it bounces through, the way the beat fucks up with that like industrialized feel to it. I really, really enjoy this. I love the energy. I think it's really cool. Like, I wasn't expecting to be like sitting here talking about this today, but I'm really excited I did decide to check this out. But yeah, I seen this shit and they come and they go, and it's evident nobody's feeling you, bro. Scars haven't sent elegance flows toward the soul, my soul. I'm a veteran better than all of you hosts. Yo, this is actually pretty good, just in the vibing of it. In terms of I like this more than I like any of the other lyrics I've heard so far. I like the way he flows it. And I like the idea that he's attacking the trendiness, because I suppose if you're in a world where you're trying to innovate, and you can argue Scarlxrd over here isn't on the innovating side. There's not a ton of people trying to bring back this brand of new metal rap stuff, like Lil Peep screaming or whatever. It's a good way to put it. So I'm giving it to him. He's got this real elegance to his style, to the way he's coming through. I really appreciate the aesthetic. He's the veteran, better than all you hosts. I gotta ask a real question, because I don't know this. I'm Googling dude now. Scarlxrd H. He's 25. He's not the fucking veteran. Throwing it out there. Like, yeah, you might be like in it. You might even be a veteran in the game. But like, a little cocky. There are definitely more talented MCs out there. However, in the vein of, I suppose, emo hip-hop, maybe he's the best emo hip-hop guy I've heard in a while. Okay. I'm not a big fan of the idea that these guys all talking about how they're all the best, because it's boring. There's nothing original about that bar at all. It is a generic as fuck bar. There's no telling when I'm about to catch up and blow. That's fair. So going back to the previous bar, it adds a little bit less of annoyance, because the truth is he has that much faith in himself. He knows he can do it. He knows he can achieve it, and he's humble enough to recognize that maybe he isn't being given the clout and the shine that man's really deserves. So I totally appreciate that. It's irrelevant. 10% trying is all. That's a murder pen. Weapons in right hand and drawn. I'm maleficent because I'll drop a curse on them all. Whatever, that's fine. I don't really know what any of that meant in terms of 10% trying is all. Is that saying he's not really putting his all into it? I don't know if that's the flex. That's okay. I don't know what the murder pen bar is. Perhaps I'm just missing some connection here. I don't really know. That's fine. I still enjoyed listening to it a lot. I don't know. Then the intro part's fine. What they know. Aha. Yeah, man. We going straight in. Yeah. Is that Shocky in the beat? I guess that's the producer, Shocky. That's cool. He's in the beat. And then, yeah, Lord, and that's fine. Standard intro shit. I'm cool with it. And then he repeats what he just did in the intro part again. Okay. When you got to repeat your verse exactly, it is definitely not better than all of the hosts. Throwing it out there. Now, I'm not hating on that, because a lot of guys do it. A lot of the younger cats do it, but if you was better than all of the hoes, you probably have 3 verses here and not 2 little verses that are repeated, or maybe it's a chorus. Fine, I'm going on Genius's distinction of verse, that's fair, but even to that end, okay, I'll move on. So it's chorus, little intro, chorus, big ol' verse, outro. That's the structure of the song. Fair enough. I'm not hating on that. It's all good. I enjoy listening to it. It is extremely hot in this room. That's why I'm in the dark. So if I do look like I am sweaty and not 1,000% feeling it, is because it's real hot in this room. Please don't try me. Don't try me. Hush your lips. You're better not likely. Most of y'all like me, act just like me. On my wealth, that's very unlikely. Do people act like Scarlxrd? Is like there are a bunch of Scarlxrd clones out there? I'm asking y'all watching this video. I really am not going to go Googling Scarlxrd clones. I don't know how he behaves in person. That would be so distinct that everyone's copying him. I don't know. But it sounds like what happens to everybody, so it's probably true, and I'll give it to him. I would not be surprised that people are trying to bite his style. Why would they try to spite me? They just bite me and then act like they ain't heard nothing by me. I'll quit hyping, I see typing. I mean, I suppose that's fair. Scarlxrd's been doing this shit since, I guess, at least 2016, that I can see on Spotify, so he's definitely been at this a couple of years, and I could imagine how a bunch of cats came through and perhaps jacked the style that he's done, so I'm not gonna hate. I'll say that usually just seems to be, holy crap, he's put out a lot of projects in the last couple of years. That's like what is that? So Asian Character Project, Rose, Cabin Fever 3, Chaos Theory 4, Lord Sun 5, Doom 6, Infinity 7, Immortalization 8, Acquired Taste Volume 1 9, Scar Hours, his first full one in 2020. That's a lot of albums. Yo, this dude's on pace to be one of those guys with like 100 albums out. Anyway, that's real respectable. Then I'll quit typing. I see typing. You ain't got lyrics. You're trash on my thing. Making it, well, to be fair, your lyrics aren't exactly like popping like the greatest shits ever. You kind of sound like, here's the problem, right? Everybody who says this shit sounds like everybody who says this shit. So for you to basically rip everybody saying this shit, even the flows aren't original, the delivery is all that is original. How he spits, the flows he's using that are really popular are different. But these bars are 3 on 5. Not great, not bad. Anyway, and I have lyrics. That's about one of the things I can do. I can write complex poetry. It's probably why I'll never be famous like Scarlxrd, though, because I can't do simple poetry. It's just not easy. I have a pretty diverse vocabulary. And there's no shit. I'm jealous. I'm a little bit jealous that I can't dumb my shit down the way this man has dumbed his shit down for the peeps. Take that what you will. If you think I'm full of shit, hit that dislike button, leave me a comment. If you feel where I'm coming from, hit that like button and leave me a comment. Anyway, all the chat isn't worth it. They're broken, they're weak. I'm not passing the burdens. I like what I see. Living the shit to fullest. Let them all doubt. I'm gonna get up and do it. I'm following now. You won't ever do it. Gone off the liquor. Senses are fluent. Literally, you give me these bars, I would, a gun to my head, there's just 0% chance I could identify this as Scarlxrd. None of this is original in terms of what he's saying. That's a shame, man. His talent is so good. I wish he had better fucking bars. And again, all you Scarlxrd fans, I'm giving this a 4.5 on 5 because like literally everything but the words is immaculately great. His delivery is incredible and impeccable. His beat choices are great. The way he puts the songs together are great. His lyrics choicing is it's fine. I know 1,000 rappers have said all this tension, I'm still losing it, gotta get a grip. Like it's difficult, we know it is. Like 1,000 fucking people have probably written verbatim that exact bar. So you can't say other people's lyrics are shit when your original lyrics effectively sound like everyone else's original lyrics. Yeah, I guess this is why some people just want to dislike my shit. And I don't know. I'm just kind of in a weird mood. I'm totally into Scarlxrd. I also know he's 25, and I know that at 25 you don't have the excuse anymore of not writing more complex poetry. You could read more books and write some doper shit. Anyway, Karma's got you, bitch, on the centerfold off coffin stig. Let me kick back, then comment, the shit you thinking is toxic, I see your head's filled up with gossip, I've been around, yeah, I'm, okay. That little bit there where your head's filled up with gossip was one of the first, like, I really liked it bars on this track. The shit you thinking is toxic, I see your head's filled up with gossip. That's respect, because it is attacking a lot of the more negative attributes of some of this shit. All I'm saying is that I don't really think there's anything in here that is like super. Like, no, they cannot relate. Get the fuck out my face. Yeah, there's a fuck ton of people who can relate to you, Scarlxrd. There's a lot of rappers in your tier who can relate to you. There's a lot of miserable people who can relate to you. There's a lot of people who can. You're not like, there's not enough original here for Scarlxrd to be acting like he is the fucking king of complicated emotions over here. I'm just throwing it out there. Otherwise, I fucking like it. I don't know. It's good. I don't want to keep talking about the lyrics because that'll make me sad. I'm excited to go through. If you want to see me react like this to the rest of what this man's done, let me know in the comments. So yeah, like I said, 4.5 on 5. Pretty solid tune. For this little chunk of the album, I'm giving it a 4.46. Take that gray with a grain of salt. It's a fucking 4-track EP, which really just kind of covers a chunk of this album. I recognize that there are the 2 more projects that I should check out if y'all want to see it. And I am hoping that it's cool. I hope that it has this sound, because the one thing I can say is, well, I don't require my rappers of my vibe rappers to have great bars. I think that's why 6ix9ine is safe from a lot of the things, because at the end of the day, the people who like good vibe music tend to not care about a lot of the same things that the people who like good bars music are. So yeah, I think this taps into that same vibe, mash out energy that I get from a lot of other dudes in that world where the bars are less important to me. So if you don't care about what the dude is saying, but you care about the emotion in his delivery, and you like the wild out beats, the cool nu metal fusion sounds he has, highly recommend this. If you want a version of this with deep poetry, it's not this dude, but this dude has that simple shit down pat, and I really like that. Anyway, that's my review. Thank y'all for coming on through. Let me know in the comments what you thought about it. I appreciate every single one of you that clicks on through it. Special thanks. Oh yeah, subscribe if you want to see more videos. Like the video if you did. Feel free to dislike it too. I like to know when you hate me. If you do want to diss me in the comments, YouTube has been deleting a lot of stuff with foul language. So don't use slurs when you attack me. Use some basic language. Like say stuff like, I think you lack intelligence. Don't call me a stupid fucking idiot. Alright? I'm just giving y'all tips on how to diss me successfully so I can see your comments. Alright? Special thanks to the patrons: Ismail Gadamsi, Chris Prado, Jonathan Barnes, Linda Williams, DJ Black Hurricane, Scribble, and Carl. They're dope. They support what we do to help us grow. And if you want to help us grow for $1 or more down, you can check the link in the description and head over to Patreon and support us. Or if you go enough, you can get us to do some album reviews for you, what you want to see. On that note, I make music, like I said. You can check all that out. Links in description. Feel free to follow me on Spotify and support what I do if you're down. The music video for my last song is on this channel. Got more work coming. Lots of great stuff. Thank y'all. Live long and prosper, everyone.